Alright, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to say Kalam Wa Yahalba Shemel Shai Bashimha Rakakadash, then double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, and do rule and teach well. Just want to hit on a little topic. I just went into how I just looked up, Columbus cut hands off of indigenous, so-called Dominicans, or the tribe of Simeon. Cut off their hands and mutilated them. And it's just put up like an AI overview. Which they have sources and whatever. Which, here you go. Genocide. Look, they try to say the myth. It's not a myth. They actually did that. It was a murderer, mutilation. See, he's trying to deny it and all this stuff. Fucking devils, bro. But yeah, it's in multiple historical records that's what they really did. Historical accounts and figures of the Spanish priest Bartolomé de las Casas confirm the Spanish colonizers in Hispaniola, present-day Haiti and the Dominican Republic, cut off the hands of the native Taino people as a form of punishment and terror tactic. The atrocities were a result of a forced labor system implemented by Christopher Columbus, which demanded that all Taino people aged 14 and older provide a certain quota of gold dust every 3 months. If they failed to meet this impossible demand, they faced brutal punishments. Okay, now, when you go into Deuteronomy 28, it goes into, the nation shall come from far, swift as an eagle. That's referring to these Americans, who took down, Gad, Reuben down here, and also brought, Jake down here to serve slavery. Would become, America, in time. Started with some colonies and then broke off and so on and so forth. Defeated the British, eventually the Spanish, got more territory, more and more and more, and grew. As the prophecy says, Daniel 7. The horn is more stout. All the Edomites are like that, man. They have no mercy on the young, the old. They're just fucking evil, man. They like Habakkuk 2 says. Brothers made this point. I can't, man. Is that his soul, which is lifted up, is not upright in him. The Edomite man, his soul is not right. He's just fucking evil, bro. He's the evil, wicked dude. What are you, Jake, trying to save them and shit? Never trust an enemy. The scripture says, man. Fucking trust him. All he's thinking is he's trying to muscle his way because he's thinking that they could skirt prophecy or something like that. It's so stupid. So the tribute system, it's pretty much that. Accounts describe Spaniards cutting off the hands of Tainos, sometimes leaving them dangling by shredded skin and telling them to go now, carry the message to others as a warning. Some reports suggest as many as 10,000 natives died this way. Other documented acts of violence and cruelty under Columbus's governance include cutting off ears and noses for minor offenses, parading women naked, hunting natives for sports with dogs, and the sexual enslavement of young girls, man. Right? All that stuff, man. They did nothing but evil to our people, man. Like it says in Joel 3, so the boy for harlot, the girl for wine, passing iron, woman, young men around, did evil to our people. Right? His brutal practices combined with disease, forced labor, and mass suicide led to the decimation of the Taino population, which dropped from hundreds of thousands to mere hundreds within decades of Columbus' arrival. The Lord still preserved them. Preserved them and also, set things up for certain them to come over here, so that you know, that Jeremiah 15:33 could come to pass. They were both northern and southern kingdom. They were pressed together. Doesn't help them captive, refuse to let them go. Right? You got all the tribes down here. Every tribe got their community. You got little DR. You got Argentinian. You got Colombian communities. You got Venezuelans, Mexicans. They got their spots where they at. You got everyone. Gad, Reuben. You know what I'm saying? Got them all here. Because everyone goes to America. It's this golden city. All right, so let's get some precept. All right, this is the book of Proverbs, the 29 verse 16. When the wicked are multiplied, transgression increaseth, but the righteous shall see their fall. All right, so Revelation 20, with the Renaissance period, Renaissance meaning rebirth, the rise is Edomites, because they were taken down. But King Ferdinand, Queen Isabella, that was kind of like the start of them kind of getting back. Transgression increases. In time they get more, more territory, more power, and started getting down on Jake, man. And Columbus knew, because he had access to the records and things like that. That hey, the Northern Kingdom went over to Arshraf, right? And that's why he came over, right? Arshraf means another, land another. I think it's Akarath and Rataza. Akarath is like land, and I don't know how it goes, but you both can go look into it. But it pretty much goes to land another. Brothers have done Hebrew lessons on it. But the righteous shall see their fall, right? It was the righteous. We're the righteous. Hopeful luck, Lord will be in that number. Yeah, you always gotta say Lord willing, right? Because what is it? How does it go? But the righteous shall live by their faith. The second part of that Habakkuk 2 that I mentioned earlier. His soul is lifted up is not right in him. But all I think it's just the just shall live by his faith. But yeah, just, righteous, right? That represents us. We're gonna see devils fall. We're willing. Alright, so this book of Amos 1:11. Thus saith the Lord, for 3 transgressions of Edom, and for 4, I will not turn away the punishment thereof, because he did pursue his brother with the sword, and did cast off all pity, and his anger did tear perpetually, and he kept his wrath forever. Alright, so these devils, these Edomites, man, throughout history, they've always, had it out for our people. That's Psalm 83. Go back to the Roman Empire. They were basically colluding with the Romans, behind our back to take us down. And they succeeded. That's where you get the rise of the Herodians, things like that. And this time, with the Romans, they're also Edomites. They're really just colluding with each other. They're doing the same thing now. That's why they have all these things, America, NATO, and the EU. That whole system was set up. So these Edomite nations can continue to have control over, over the world, man. Over the darker nations and things like that. And they just created the UN just to make the darker nations feel like they're a part of something, but they still, have that foot, on their neck, man. But I will send a fire upon Teman and shall devour the palaces of Basra. Basra. Talk about America, man. It's another name for America. It was like a top area, big part of of Edom. Sometimes America is called Mount Seir, and other names. Yeah, but that's what's gonna happen. All right. We got one more. It's was this book Obadiah 1 and 18. The house of Jacob shall be a fire, the house of Joseph a flame, and the house of Esau for stubble. They shall kindle in them and devour them, and there shall not be any remaining of the house of Esau, for the Lord has spoken it. Alright, so it's going to be a 1,000-year period, right? And it's important to know how it says the house of Jacob and the house of Joseph, because that represents, the northern, southern kingdom and the northern kingdom, all the tribes together, everyone. They gonna come down, and when that 1,000-year period is up, the Edomites are gonna get burnt up, and good riddance. Cause, they've done spread war, chaos, wherever they go. Just look at this devil's track record ever since he got loosed. That little season, all he's done is just have wars with each other, have war with everyone around them, create battle, mischief, evil, start wars and then back both sides of the war and so on and so forth. That's all they do. So I'm gonna let that be that little bit of the finest issue.